Okay, next we have Blue Exorcist. So it's 1 to 27, but I am missing 17 and 14. So I've again read the first couple, and I've been looking for volume 7 for like a year now. It's been a long time, but it's just I can only find it for retail, and I'm not paying retail. Most of these I got for either secondhand or 3 for 2 prices, so yeah, not touching these with retail. I did quite enjoy it. It's definitely one I really would like to try and get up to date with if I can, and read up to date. Just really want to try and get on top of some of my longer series next year. It was one of my goals. Okay, next we've got Blue Flag volumes 1 to 8, and this is complete. Must say, I absolutely adored volume 5. There is a whole scene with a character that at first in the series don't really like, but then there's a whole bit with them in volume 5 and I absolutely adored it. I'm in the camp of I didn't enjoy the ending, mostly because I didn't like the time skip, and I felt like it felt rushed and unexplained, and I know the author said in the back that that was kind of what they were going for, but it just wasn't my kind of thing. I don't like not understanding, and I didn't see like the what's the damn word? I didn't see the route there. To be completely honest, I wasn't surprised with who the guy ended up with. I actually kind of expected it, but I just wanted to see it. That's all I wanted. I just wanted to see it. Also, love the like day to evening to night to day on the spines. Next we have Blue Giant Omni 5/6. I got this for I think £6 off Blackwell's. Another one that has been on my want to try list, so I was quite happy to pick it up. Even though I don't have earlier volumes, it is around music, and I will just try and pick up the rest when I see them for a good price. Next we have Blue Lock Volume 1, which has been very popular at the moment because at the point that I am filming this, it is the World Cup, and I actually did quite enjoy this. I have ordered volumes 2 and 3, and they should be on their way at some point. It took ages for volumes to appear in the UK. Like, I think volume 2 had just come out in the US before I even saw volume 1 over here. Did enjoy it. I liked the whole like battle in a school fighting, not to the death, but just aggressive fighting. Did enjoy. Looking forward to reading more. Next we have Blue Period volumes 1 to 11. That is up to date. Goodness me, I don't know what happened, but both volumes 9, 10 and 11 all kind of came out around the same time, at least in the UK they did, so they literally all arrived on the same day, and I had 10 and 11 on pre-order. 9, I kind of was holding off a little bit till I saw it discounted, but it wasn't out that long before I ordered it, like maybe a couple of weeks. I've only so far read up to volume 9. I haven't had a chance to read 10 and 11. I do like Blue Period, but I find it quite a heavy read, and there's a lot of text, and it like really makes you think about you as a person. So I didn't want to try and binge 9, 10, 11, so I read 9, I'll read some more and then come back to the others. What I think I find most interesting about Blue Period is, personally, I'm not really that into art. It's just not my kind of thing, but I really like how Blue Period present it, and they talk about not only like art, but like styles and techniques and how you make art. I've really enjoyed learning about like different types of paints and drawing methods, and at the moment they're doing something with mosaics, I think, and it's just really interesting hearing about that sort of thing, even if I'm not ultimately as bothered about the end product. But really been enjoying this. Absolutely loved this volume. I think this has been my favourite volume yet. Okay, now we have Boarding School Juliet. So we have 1 to 3, 5 to 9, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16. So I'm actually missing another volume than I thought. I thought I had to volume 12. This is like a high school romance, Romeo and Juliet sort of deal. So there's like this boarding school and there's 2 factions, and the head of one faction and the head of another faction start dating. And that's not really spoilery, it happens in volume 1. And they try to hide it so things don't go south. Really quite wholesome. Again, I've only read volume 1 because I'm missing earlier volumes. I only got, I think, 3 and another one not too long ago. But now I'm only missing 3 volumes, so I'll wait till I get those and read them all together. I tend to read romance series a lot quicker than anything else, to be fair. I am looking forward to it. I really found this wholesome, but also enjoyed the whole like silly dynamics between the two factions. Next we have Bodacious Space Pirates, Abyss of Hyperspace Volumes 1 and 2, and I think this is complete. Now, to be completely honest, I know nothing about it. I've not read it yet. I picked it up because it had the word Bodacious in the title, and I was giggling to myself. They were like £3 each on World of Books. I don't know if that says something about the series, probably, but also World of Books sometimes just has some crazy prices for their volumes, so it'll be a nice short series to pick up at some point. Next we have Bofurry, I Don't Want to Get Hurt, so I'll max up my defense volumes 1 to 4. I know I'm getting volume 5 for Christmas, but otherwise I'm not sure if that might be up to date for the manga. There is also a light novel. Again, actually, I don't think there's many out for the light novel either. This is an isekai where the main character is isekai'd into a video game. Is that the main character? It kind of looks like the main character, but she's blonde. I don't know if that's spoilers, so I'll just put it back. But yeah, our main character is sort of encouraged to try this game by a friend, and she's like, well, I don't want to get hurt, so she literally does put all of her points into defense, and there's a bug in the system, and it turns her OP. She doesn't really realize she's just having a nice time playing with a friend, whereas like other players and like staff are freaking out because there's this player that's just like broken their system, doesn't realize. But they don't want to like stop her playing. Well, at least as far as I've read, I think I've read up to 3. I haven't read volume 4 yet. Very much enjoying it. Light-hearted. Gives me kind of laid-back, camp, chill, high school girl vibes. Do love. On to something with a completely different vibe is Booty Royale. Never Go Down Without a Fight. And it's the Omnis 1 to 8, but there's 4 of them. Yeah, this is... I don't think I'd ever recommend this series. It is basically this character wants to get into acting, and she purposefully, she's a bit naive, ends up sort of going down another route to get into the acting, but also she's a martial artist, so is fighting off everyone, and that becomes like her thing. And people seem to be into that. There are some very, very super disturbing scenes, plastic wrapped, 18 plus, wood void. Do not recommend. Then you're gonna ask, why do you read it? Because I am filthy degenerate, okay? Right, next we have Boruto's dad's son, Boruto, 1 to 15. I've just realised I've not read volume 15 yet. I do enjoy Boruto. I really enjoyed this last arc, which I think these volumes here. It does feel a bit weird because it doesn't. I know it's official and all, but it doesn't feel it. It feels really weird reading Boruto. I don't know why. I mean, I am still enjoying it, and I also know that I think Kishimoto said that he hopes that the Naruto-Boruto arc kind of wraps up around 100 volumes, and Naruto is 72 volumes, so the assumption is that Boruto is going to be about 30. But it was a few years ago now that he said it, so maybe it's changed. But the general consensus is that we're now about halfway through. I don't really know where it's going. It's just another, like, there's just another big bad. There's another big bad. There's another big bad. But we'll see. Next we have Box of Light Volume 1. And that is the only one that is out. This is about a convenience store that is on the border between, I think, life and death. And people come in and they either go back to the life or they move on. And the convenience store is kind of them trying to confront the problem that's causing them to consider or move over to the other side. I'm not sure it made me happy to read. I think that was my issue. I don't think it was bad. I don't think I found myself feeling happy when I was reading it, which put me off a bit. Boy Meets Maria, and this is a one-shot volume. I have not read it yet, but I know that Himika said that she really enjoyed it, so when I saw it, I decided to grab it, but I will get to that soon. Next we have Boys Run the Riot 1 to 4. This is complete. I actually read Boys Run the Riot in like a day. I got really into it. Now what I must say is I found it really interesting read because I don't think I've read much manga which have the sort of LGBT focus that this series kind of has. Like I've read BL, I've read GL, but this is like, it felt a bit more like real situation. I am not explaining it well in the slightest. I think my only gripe with the series, which is nothing to do with that at all, is, I mean, the main characters are all kids, and I just found them a bit whingy, because they were trying to start their clothing brand, and, like, people weren't giving them a chance, and it's like, and I found their reactions really annoying, but maybe that's just because I'm getting older and I'm struggling with, like, high school kids in series, which, like, makes me sad, because I'm not that old. Next we've got The Breaker, Volume 1. I actually got halfway through this and I put it down, and I don't remember why. It wasn't because it was bad. This is a manhwa, I think. It very much gave me GTO vibes, like delinquent teacher kind of thing. I need to get back into it. I think there's like 3 out now. It is complete, I just don't remember how many volumes though. Next we have Breasts Are My Favourite Thing in the World, volumes 1 to 4. And I know 6 is out, and I think I'm getting 6 for Christmas, but I'm missing volume 5. This is weirdly wholesome. Like, you look at the title, and you look at the cover, and you're like, really? But it is kind of wholesome. It's just about this girl who is not particularly well endowed, but wants to touch something or someone that's well endowed, and they kind of come to this, she meets someone who is well endowed, and they come to an understanding, and kind of becomes a relationship. Everyone seems happy, I think. It's kind of wholesome. It is a plastic wrapped, so yep, 18 plus and all that. Next we've got Bungo Stray Dogs Volume 1. I have actually been put off picking this series up because it's really long and there weren't reprints. They were really hard to find, and then I found Volume 1 in store, and it turns out, yes, they are doing reprints. I decided to dive in, though I only have Volume 1, and I'm a bit scared to read anymore until I get more volumes, so I have not started reading it. I opened it and, like, read the first couple of pages, and I was like, what am I doing? I don't even know when Volume 2 gets reprinted. Next we've got Burn the Witch Volume 1, which is something to do with Bleach Universe. I did originally pick this up because I needed to make a 3 for 2. Also, I have not finished Bleach, so I don't really want to read it yet. I know some people have said that you can read it without Bleach, but I think my preference is to read Bleach and then read Burn the Witch. As we got By the Grace of the God Volume 1 to 5, this is an isekai. This is a very bland isekai. It's another one where a salaryman's been reincarnated into a kid, and he seems to command an army of slimes. It is very chill. It's very wholesome. I do enjoy reading it. It is not spectacular though. It's very, very mid. But enjoyable mid. I do enjoy that the author's name is Roy though. That tickles me for some reason. Call Girl in Another World 1 to 4. So I'm getting Volume 5 for Christmas. This is kind of exactly what it sounds like. It is an isekai where a call girl has been isekai to another world, ends up working in a establishment, and kind of uses techniques that she knows from modern day in this fantasy world. It's actually surprisingly light-hearted. She loves her job, and a lot of people working at this establishment also love their job. She has like a book of different types of people she needs to service before she can go home. So she's got like a tick list, which is like dwarf, demon lord, and so she's kind of on the hunt for those sort of people. Again, plastic wrapped, and very adult topics. Next we have Call of the Night 1 to 9, which is ish up to date. I assume 10 might be out at some point ish. I've read volumes 1 and 2. I wasn't particularly blown away. I found it a bit strange. The whole 15-year-old was just ambling the streets and went to this randomer's apartment to take a nap or something, and then she tried to drink his blood. Maybe it picks up more later on, but maybe I'm just too old. It's so sad. I'm not sure I get the hype on this series, but maybe it picks up later on. Call to Adventure Defeating Dungeons with a Skill Board 1 to 4, and that is up to date. This is not an isekai, but it is a fantasy. It's actually quite a similar premise to Solo Leveling, where dungeons have started popping up around the place, and people now can make a living by going into the dungeons, killing monsters, pulling things out, materials and stuff, and selling them on. This guy manages to find this skill board in a dungeon, and it allows him to get super overpowered. It is a bit dark though, there are dark moments. It actually does remind me quite a lot of Solo Leveling. Next we have Candy and Cigarettes. I haven't had this volume that long. I know nothing about it, and I have not read it, so I can't tell you any more about it. I'm sorry. Captain Harlock, Space Pirates, what does it say? Dimension Voyage, Volumes 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 3 to 9 I picked up in HMV for $4.99, and then Volume 1 I picked up in store. So sad. That was part of a 3 for 2 though. I thought my partner might be keen on this sort of series because he really enjoys like space, pirate, opera stuff. So thought might as well grab this for him, see if he enjoys it. He hasn't gotten to it yet. To be fair, I think we only picked these up like 2 days ago, so I'm not sure he'd have had much of a chance, to be fair. As we have Cardcatch Sakura Clear Card Volume 1. This was a slight accidental pickup. I misread the listing. I bought it secondhand for like £2 many years ago. I thought this was the main series and was surprised at how cheap it was. It's not. It's a spin-off or the sequel. I'm not entirely sure. And I've completely halted that because I've not finished picking up the main series. And once I have, I'll get back to picking this up. Next we have Case Closed. So I'll talk a couple about these. So Volume 1 I picked up in Travelling Man, I think, as part of 3 for 2. And then 2 through 11 I've picked up second hand from like World of Books or Amazon, eBay. 5 I think is the worst one because 5 is like the spine is like slanted quite badly, but there's sun damage on 5, 6, 10. I know you can see I'm 14, but I'll get 14 in the moment. So potentially, I'm not normally that bothered about damage apart from spine damage. But Case Closed volumes are actually pretty hard to find, especially the earlier ones. I would be surprised if they ever did a reprint anyway. If I could ever see nicer copies of 5, 6, 10, might go for it, but I'm not fussed enough. So 12 through, let me just get down the stepladder. Right, so 12 through to 78 I actually managed to pick up as part of a eBay bundle. I think it worked out at about £3 a volume, and then from 78 onwards I've been picking them up in store. This is now me up to date. This is my second longest series in my collection after, I'm sure you'll be surprised when we get to it. I haven't really started reading it because I'm a bit scared now. It took me ages to find the earlier volumes that I was missing, and then it's a really long series. I really like mystery, and I quite like repetitive mystery, so I'm fairly sure I will enjoy it, and also I think my partner's keen on reading it, so I'm looking forward to it. Next we have Case Files of Julia Richard 1 to 3. I read volume 1 and I found it quite interesting. I saw a lot of people before I read it kept calling it a BL. I don't really see how it's a BL. I don't know if it's just because the main characters are both men, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's BL. I found it really interesting learning about the jewels. It's kind of like mystery solving between the volumes, so my kind of thing. I do like mysteries, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to read volumes 2 and 3 together. Next we have Case Study of Vanitas 1 to 4, 5, 6, 7. Very excited. I saw these the last time I was in Leeds, which was only a few days ago. I've had 1, 2 and 4 for like over a year, maybe 2 years now, and I haven't seen them pop up, or they have, and it's crazy expensive. I only need volumes 3 and 8 before I'm up to date. I have read volumes 1 and 2 and enjoyed it. I did enjoy the like Paris steampunk aesthetic, but yeah, I haven't read any further obviously because I'm missing volume 3, but I assume it'll restock at some point soon, hopefully. Next we've got Cat Plus Gamer volumes 1 and 2. I feel like this is a quintessential read if you are both a cat lover and a game lover. This was just beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I pretty much read volume 1 and I was like, I want a cat. And then a few weeks later I got cats. So actually, if you don't have cats and you're a cat fan, read at your own risk. So I got Cat in a Hot Girl's Dawn volumes 1 and 2. up to date. I haven't started reading it. Plastic wrapped, so be wary, I suppose. Next we got Cat Massage Therapy Volume 2. I love the toe bean, the raised, so soft. I picked this up from Blackwell's for $5.99, which is why I don't have volumes 1 or 3. It's quite a pricey volume because it's full colour, I think, but it is it's pricey. So I'll probably really hold off to pick up 1 and 3 because I think it's complete at 3 volumes. Next we got Cells at Work 1 to 6, and this is complete and also spin-off art, collector's guide and bonus manga. I was waiting for volume 6 for ages because apparently it's got a COVID chapter in it and I can't wait to read that. Yeah, final volume. I've read the first 3. I find Cells at Work really interesting but also quite a hard read just because there's so much Latin, there's a lot of text, they throw a lot of information at you, and I generally read just before I go to bed, and reading this sort of thing just before you go to bed just does not work. No, I just can't. So I'm struggling to get through Cells at Work. I need to find another time of day when I'm more awake to read it. Same goes for Cells at Work Code Black, but I have 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, not 1, 2, 4, that doesn't sound right. This is the adult version, which deals with more adult topics. What if the body smokes too much? Or drinks too much? What happens then? So yeah, generally more adult topics. In Forbidden Planet, these generally plastic wrapped. Though a good number of these I've actually picked up second hand. I don't know if you could be able to tell which ones I got second hand and which ones I got in store though. And then finally we've got Cells at Work Baby 1 to 4, and this is also complete, and this is more what happens to kickstart a baby. It goes through birth to getting going, what happens for a baby to start surviving on their own. Really interesting. I've just learnt so much. I love it so much. And next we've got a certain magical index 1 to 4 and 13 and 22, and also a certain scientific railgun 1 to 11, 13, and a certain scientific accelerator 2 and 8. So this is the main series, and these are both spin-offs from the main series. Look how much I got this volume for. That's insane. When people ask me questions like how do you afford all your manga, it's because I pay prices like this. These are the sole prices I pay because I'm cheap. I have been vaguely enjoying the series, but not enough to go out of my way. So a lot of these have been second-hand or discounted purchases in the sale section. So I'm probably going to keep trying to picking up that way because I don't want to pay full price. Next we have Chained Soldier Volume 1, which I have not read yet, but it's plastic wrapped. A lot of people didn't say it was actually that good, but I only heard that after I'd already picked it up. But I do have a slight soft spot for plastic wrapped manga though, so I probably would have grabbed it anyway. But I will get to that soon. I've seen Volume 2 out in the wild, but it's just been too pricey for me to pick up yet. Next we have Chainsaw Man Volumes 1 to 11. I have read the first volume of Chainsaw Man and then got hit with out of stock volumes, and it was about a year that it took me to get Volume 4 from when it came out, and then I couldn't find Volume 7 or another one, and then by the time I actually had a clear run, I was one volume off Volume 11. I was I'll wait and I'll just read them all together. My plan is to read these over Christmas. That's the end of part 1, I think. I think my big worry with Chainsaw Man is it's got so much hype. Will it actually live up to the hype now? That's my main concern. Next we have Change World Volumes 1 and 2, and this is complete, though it is also the sequel to another series called Sayonara World, which I do also have. I did wonder if I should put them together, but I didn't. I have left them alphabetical. Apparently there's another couple of series in the story, and I'll pick those up when they come out as well. As we have Chasing After Oi Koshiba Volumes 2 and 3. Both of these I got on Blackwell's for $4.99, I think. Look how chunky that one is. That's wonderful. It is only a 4-volume series, and I did happen upon Volume 1 discounted, but I haven't picked it up yet. I think it's a GL, but that is the extent of my knowledge so far. Next we have Cheeky Brat 1 to 4. I have 5 and 6 on pre-order, I think. for like £6. Woohoo! I've read 1 and 2, I haven't read 3 and 4. I love the spines, I love this like rainbow pastel colour, I hope they continue it so badly. I must say, I'm not completely sold on the series. It's very fine. I just don't think I like either of the main characters, and that makes it really struggle to enjoy the series. I find her a bit too annoying and him a bit too pushy. It's also really long. I wonder, like, I don't know. But the spines are selling it for me at the moment. Okay, next we have Cherry Magic 30 Years of Virginity Commit You a Wizard Volume 1. I hear this is like super wholesome. I picked this up second hand for like £5, I think. But it is meant to be absolutely lovely, and I can't wait to read it. I need to get some more of the volumes so I'm up to date. I think there's 5 or 6 out at the moment, not too sure, but really excited for that one. Next we have Children on the Rails 1 to 15 and 16 to 20. So that is me up to date on that series, though it is actually finishing soon, so there shouldn't be that many more volumes, I say, question mark. I am about 3 volumes in, but this is one of my friend's favourite series, so I've been meaning to really try and catch up on it so I can at least talk to her about it. I think it has definitely got some of the most prettiest covers in my collection. Like, that is absolutely gorgeous. So pretty. Chilling in Another World with Level 2 Super Cheap Powers 1, 2, 3. Volume 4 is out soonish. I'm really enjoying this. Another isekai, of course. A guy's been isekai'd and he has like really shit powers when he's level 1, so the kingdom like throw him out. And then he levels up to level 2 and then he's like, all his powers are unlocked and he's amazing and super cool and overpowered. And he ends up gaining a beast wife, kinda. And he's kind of just living his life. He literally is chilling in another world. But it's great. They're just mooching around, having some fun. And next is a Chinese fantasy, The Dragon King's Daughter. Now, I don't know how they're going to be doing these. I don't know if they're doing multiple. I don't know if this is a one-shot. I don't know if it's like a Chinese fantasy is like the main title, and then the subtitle will change for each of the volumes. I'll see. I haven't really looked into it. This was just sort of a collection of short stories based on Chinese folktales, with the main short story being about this Dragon King's daughter, which is this person. I actually found it fine. It was a really jolly read. It was nice having lots of little short stories. Like, some of them were only a few pages long. I did kind of like the main story. I think I've enjoyed it more post as opposed to like immediately after, because I went through it quite quickly and I was like, I don't feel like I got enough. But I did actually find it interesting and enjoyed it. But it is quite a pricey volume. It was like $13.99. So, wonderful shade of teal though. And next we've got Shitose in the Ramen Bottle Volumes 1 and 2. This is based on a light novel. It's meant to be like a chill slice of life. I haven't started reading it. Okay, so next up we have Chobits 1 to 8. So these are the Tokyo Pop version, not the new one. I got, I think, a couple of these. Like, some of these I've had in my collection for years. Like this, I think Volume 2 I bought when I was like 14. So I've had this for like 12 years now. But I didn't get Volume 1 until much more recently. I bought this for £2. I think I bought most of them for between £2 and £3. All, of course, second hand. I think I only read Volume 1. And I was like, I think it surprised me how strange it was. It has elements to it that surprised me, I think. But I did actually quite like it, and I need to finish it. Next we have Chronicles of an Aristocrat Reborn in Another World 1 to 5. I have read 1 to 3 of this. This is another isekai. This is another like average isekai, but again, I really enjoy it. It's about another guy who's been isekai'd into a kid, and he's like starting to create things from his old life in a fantasy world, like plumbing and entertainment or board games and stuff. He has kind of ended up engaged to like 3 different, I want to say girls, because they're all like aged 10. He's been like engaged to like 4 formal, what's the word, nobles and stuff, because he's making such a name for himself, and like all these nobles want him to marry their kid, so he's like entered all these arrangements. But it isn't too weird. Yeah, actually no, that is kind of weird because they're all kids. Still quite enjoying it though. I enjoy the like bringing things over from the modern world to the fantasy world, like plumbing. Next we have Citrus and Citrus Plus. Citrus 1 to 10 is complete. Citrus Plus, I've got 1 of 3. I'm missing 2. I don't know how many volumes are out of this. I think it's a sequel, this one. I've read up to volume 8 of Citrus and then forgot to read volumes 9 and 10, which wrap up the series. I know that this is a bit of a problematic series for a lot of people because the main couple are step siblings, but I must say I think the art in this is gorgeous. Okay, I'm probably gonna close that didn't look quite that appropriate. I think the art in this is gorgeous. It was one of the first larger volumes from 70s I ever picked up. It actually might have been the first larger volume I ever picked up from 70s, and I just really liked how the art was all blown up and really big and easy to look at, so I really enjoyed reading it for those reasons. I'm a bit meh about the romance. I don't really like either of the main characters. I find them both a bit annoying in their own right. As we have Classroom of the Elite 1 to 4, I've read 1 to 3. I haven't had volume 4 all that long. I don't really understand the hype for the series through the manga. My understanding is the light novels or even the anime is way better than the manga. Personally, I'm not really that interested in reading or watching other mediums. I just have too much manga to read, as I'm sure you could probably already tell. So I'm pretty much sticking to the manga, and if it's not great, that's a shame. My partner's interested in light novels though, so he might be able to tell me if it's way better or not. I just don't really get what's happening. I thought it was going to be way more cutthroat than it actually is. It seems more slice of life than I expected it to be. I think's my issue with it. Next we have Claymore. So I have 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 26, oh no, not 27. So I am missing 3, 8, 13, and 27, and then I will be complete on Claymore. I have been purchasing these secondhand or as part of 3 for 2. Probably in the long run will make it cheaper than buying the box set, but probably not by much. But my general preference is to not do box sets if I can, and then I like piecemealing them. I like filling in the puzzle. So I don't have many left. It's only 4 out of all of them, which isn't bad. And yeah, some of these I managed to pick up between £2 and £3 because they were secondhand, which is really good. As we have Clockwork Planet 1 to 10, it's actually not been that long that I've had this complete. I've been picking up all of it secondhand apart from I think 1 volume, which I did actually pick up in Forbidden Planet because it wasn't appearing secondhand. It is complete at 10 volumes. I haven't... from the creator of No Game, No Life. There you go, I have told you something about it. It does also have a light novel, I believe. As we have volume 4 of Cocoon Entwined, this is a series that had been on my want to try, and Forbidden Planet London had volume 4 for £5 or £4.99, so I snatched it up because in Leeds it's like a £13.99 series, so more than 50% off retail. I was like, thank goodness. I have also got volume 3 on the way, and now I just need to look out for volumes 1 and 2. I don't know if there are only 4 volumes, but I think that's all I've seen so far. Next we have Combatants Will Be Dispatched 1 to 6. This is a series by the same author as Konosuba. It is a series that my partner has been reading and has been really enjoying. I haven't read it yet myself. I think it's an isekai. Invade a fantasy world. It does sound isekai. That reminds me of like Fire Emblem. I have also started picking up the light novels for my partner, so let's see if he prefers manga or light novel. As we have Cromartie High School 1 to 4 and 7. Unfortunately, this is a rather out of print series. It's what's the publisher say again? Is that ADV? Yeah, they're very out of print. Also, this series never finished printing in English. It stopped at 11 volumes. Unfortunately, I started picking it up not knowing it was out of print because damn friend of mine was like, oh, you should try the series, it's great. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll try it. Found some secondhand copies. I was like, oh yeah, this is quite fun. Tried to find some more. Why are they so expensive? And then I learned. I was very annoyed because he's done that a few times now. He's recommended series that he really thinks great, and I try them and they are, and then I find out they're out of print and I have no hope of being able to complete it. It's very annoying. Cromartie High School is very kind of strange, but it's hilarious. It is it's like a really rough high school, but a really smart guy goes because he wants to go to school with his friend, but his friend ended up not getting in. And yeah, there's like students include a gorilla, a robot, and Freddie Mercury. That's probably all the premise you need. As we have Country Without Humans 1 and 2, I have read volume 1. It's quite dystopic. This like kid is trying to hide in a country that doesn't have any humans. I hope I've not spoiled it. And this human gets kind of taken in by this guy on the spine. It's a bit tricky to get these volumes out because they're stacked, but this kid gets taken in, and there's kind of just so far we're just trying to learn what's happened. Why are there no humans? Because it looked like these robots did serve humans once upon a time, and why don't they anymore? It isn't a very long series. I don't want to completely say it's 3 volumes. 3 volumes is what springs to mind. Maybe 5 volumes? I can't remember exactly. But it's not long. As we have Crazy Food Truck volumes 1 and 2. I think I've been enjoying Crazy Food Truck. I kind of hoped there was more food in it. It's a very action-y series. This like ex-military guy it's in a very post-war world, and this ex-military guy just runs a food truck, and he's kind of run into this strange girl who eats a lot of food, so he's like traveling around trying to find neat food to serve in his food truck, and this girl eats a lot of it. And they're just kind of chilling around, but there's something weird about the girl that the military wants her for some reason, so they're kind of slightly on the run, but also just chilling, doing food. Another series that I think is complete at 3 volumes. I think, question mark. As we have Cross-Dressing Villainess Cecilia Sylvie, volumes 1 and 2. I have been rather enjoying this as part of my Mega Villainess Isekai binge. This is another one where the main character has been isekai'd into a otome game that they had played to try and not get herself killed. In this one, she decides to cross-dress and pretend to be a boy. So they kind of pretend that the actual, that Cecilia Sylvie is she's at home in bed, she's not well, she can't really attend school, and then she actually attends as a boy. The only one that knows is her step brother, who's trying to protect her, but things keep going a bit wrong because she's actually now a nice person, and all the love interests are taking an interest in her. Really enjoying this one. This one's quite fairly light-hearted compared to some of the ones I've read. Crossplay Love Otaku X Punk Volume 1. I have picked up Volume 2. No, I'm getting Volume 2 for Christmas, sorry. So I think that's then up to date. I don't know much about it, but I know it's had a good reception. I know a lot of people have really enjoyed it. So I am looking forward to trying that one. It looks fun. Next we have Cubats 1-3, and that is a series complete. This is one of multiple Minecraft Isekai series in my collection. So far, this is the worst one. This one is not very good at all. Would not recommend. The ending is not fully explanatory, confusing, and it's just a bit shit. I gotta be honest. I don't really have much else to explain. Volume 1, I was like, oh my god, this is wonderful. Minecraft Isekai, excellent, perfect, just what I want. And then Volume 2, I was like, okay. And then Volume 3, I was like, what? There's just so many unanswered questions, and it's just not very good. And it kind of throws, it tries to throw all the plot explanation in 2-3 pages, and it just boils down to a dev is super duper shitty, though I suppose you could say that's the plot of Sword Art Online as well. Yeah, would not recommend at all. Shit. And next we've got Cutie and the Beast volumes 1-3. I have not read volume 3 yet. I forgot I had it. I have read 1 and 2. I did quite like it. This is an age gap romance. I can't remember the exact age gap, but it's actually probably one of the biggest ones. No, it doesn't say. She's high school, so 16 or 17. I don't want to say 29, but it's like 27, 29. It's like late 20s and like mid to late teens. There's a decent age gap. He's a wrestler and he plays, I think, is it called the heel, like the bad guy? And she's like obsessed with him. She loves him. And they kind of meet and she's kind of nice to him and he's confused because he doesn't get that many like nice fans like her, and they kind of start spending some time together and he's like, this is inappropriate, and she's like, I don't care, and he's like, okay then. And then they like go to her dad to try and get permission, and I can't remember much more than that. I think that was volume 1. It might be volume 1 and 2. It's been a super long time since another volume has published, like years now I think, but I think 4 is coming out next year at some point. Next we have 3 volumes of Die Dark. So this is the same artist as Dorohedoro. I haven't started reading this yet. These feel really like hefty. They're like a good weight to these. I actually originally decided to dive into this one because Meet the Weeb Dad described the humour as similar to Red Dwarf. Now, I know he meant that to be derogatory and mean and say that the humour is shite. Well, he's shite. No, I don't mean that, he's great. But Red Dwarf humour is like peak British humour and I absolutely adore it. So I was like, oh my god, I know he means that badly, but no, that actually has sold the series for me. I need to start picking this up. So again, need to start reading this one. Next we have Daily Report About My Witch Senpai, volumes 1 and 2. Now, this series was complete, but apparently, due to popular demand, the artist has decided to pick it back up because it got such wonderful reviews, and I'm so glad. This is such a wonderful, wholesome, lovely romance. It's about our main character is a witch and she works in an office, and these two get sweet on each other and it's so cute. It's just so wonderfully adorable and cute. Would absolutely definitely recommend a sweet series. Oh, this is my favourite bit. Thank you so much for reading. I love stars, so I drew lots of them. I like stars, so I drew them. It's like, yes, I love that. I love that so much. And next we have Dander. That's got a nice like bounce to it. Dander. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce it. Volume 1. Yeah, I've not read this yet. If the sticker's still on it, it usually means I've not read it. I like to take the stickers off once I've read them. This one I see a lot of people saying like good things about. I know Geeky Dreams has enjoyed it and wanted me and Himika to read it. I haven't yet, but I will do soon. I'm trying to get through. That was another one that was in my basket before I put everything away for this video. Next we got The Dangers in My Heart, volumes 1 and 2. Haven't read these yet. I picked them up from Blackwell's for $5.99 because I am forever finding great deals. Actually, I've seen a lot of people say good things from like volume 5 onwards. I think there's like 5 volumes, so I might try and pick up some more next time I'm in Forbidden Planet. Next we have volumes 1 to 5 of The Dark History of the Reincarnated Villainess. I am getting volume 6 for Christmas, but otherwise that is up to date. This is an isekai. It's a bit different from our typical villainess isekai because she is not isekai'd into an otome game. Instead, our main character spent her teens kind of like creating this story with characters, and she's kind of been isekai'd into that. However, in her story, in her head, she played the main character, whereas she's been isekai'd as the villainess in her own story. And what I find really interesting with this one is because it's her own story, and she's got like all these own stories, like she wrote like lots and lots of stories around the characters. She knows like things that can trip death flags for each story, so she like a lot of the chapters is her trying to avoid tripping specific death flags for each of the stories that's currently happening. Like there's one with elves, and if you talk to a certain person, she was like, that was a bad thing to talk to a certain person, so she spends a lot of it trying to end up not interacting with them. I think it's a bit more It's a bit more over the top, this one. The characters, there's a lot of pointy chins, and I do complain a lot about dudes with pointy chins because it just looks a bit painful. It is very super dramatic, but I would recommend if you're into the villainous genre. It can be a bit explicit though. And next we've got Daughter of the Emperor, volumes 1 and 2. I have not read volume 2 yet. Ow. So this is a full colour by Yen Press. Technically, I suppose it would fall under the Ise Press, but it wasn't a thing when they started printing these. I really disliked how they drew the baby. They're really not good at drawing babies, but like dudes, they're really good at drawing dudes. But the baby just never quite looks right. I think it's the eyes. I think the eyes get to me, but like guys, they seem to be really good at drawing guys. So basically this kid has been isekai'd, so it's an isekai, this woman has been isekai'd into this baby of this emperor that's known and notorious for just killing anyone and everyone, and they're really surprised that he lets this baby live. That's about it so far. They're starting to grow up, and I imagine they'll grow up a whole lot more. They look way older on the cover of volume 2 than they were at the end of volume 1. Next we have Dawn of the Arcana 3, 7 and 10. I only really recently started to pick this series up, hence why I've got so few volumes. They're actually not that easy to find anyway. This is a series by Ray Toma, and it is set in the same universe as The King's Beast, but you don't need to read one to understand the other from my understanding. Yeah, I'm just going to keep trying to pick that up as and when I can. Next we have Days of Love at Seagullville Volume 1. This is another one I picked up at Blackwell's because it was $5.99. I think the cover looks really lovely. I have a feeling this is a GL. Yeah, Yuri. So I'm looking forward to reading that one. I've not read it yet, but I will do. I might wait till I pick up Volume 2 because I think Volume 2 is out now. Not sure yet. Next we have Days on Fest Volumes 1 to 5. I actually had some problems with this series. I haven't read it. All my problems were just with picking it up because I'd ordered it from somewhere and then the place kind of cancelled, and then they were like, actually no, we've like half cancelled it, and I was like, am I getting my order or not? And yeah, I ended up giving up on them and just picking them up in store. My understanding is it's about some people who like to go to festivals. It is complete of 5 volumes, so I'll be able to read all 5 together. I don't like the text on the cover of the final volume though. I don't like that. As in this like red text. But otherwise I really like that cover. So sad. Next we have volumes 1 to 12 of Daytime Shooting Star. This is a series that I started reading when volume 1 came out. I'd only started picking up shoujo series a bit more around that time. So I think it was, when did this come out? 2019. So yeah, it wasn't that long before lockdown. It was about a year before I started doing all my manga community stuff. I was a bit unsure of the series. I didn't like how much investment there was into one of the love interests. There's going to be some spoilers. I'm going to spoil things a bit, but not too much. So jump ahead a bit if you don't want spoilers for this series. Basically, she ends up dating the teacher for a while, and I just didn't like how that was handled. Like, I'm fine with age gaps, depending on how they're handled, and a teacher being in a position of power, dating her and treating the way he did, just didn't sit right with me. I didn't like it. I liked how it ended, though. I think I liked this friend. I liked this friend a lot. Apparently there is an extra volume in Japan with like side stories, but that's not been printed in English. Some people hope they might, because some shoujo series have printed the extra volume, but not all of them have, and at this point, this has been out for quite a while now. I don't know if they will. I really like some of the colour combinations. Like, I really like this blue and orange colour combination. Next we've got Dead Demons Destruction 1 to 11, and I believe this makes me complete. Not complete, up to date. I think there's one more or two more. Actually, not too sure. I did vaguely put off picking up this series for quite a while because the volumes are quite thin for the price that they are. Though they are viz, they're still not too bad. I haven't actually had these volumes all that long, probably only a couple of weeks. I've not gotten to reading these yet. I do want to, again, next year probably. my partner I think is interested in reading them too. Next we have Dead Man Wonderland 1 to 13, which is complete. This one is a series I've had for quite a while. Definitely a series that had a very strong first half and then a less strong second half. I was rather confused with the ending as well. I had to look up to see what happened and try to follow it, which I don't like with endings. If I read the ending, I'm like, okay, it's not usually a good ending. But I'm also really picky with endings. There are very few endings that I've truly enjoyed. Next we have Deadpool Samurai Volumes 1 and 2, and that is complete. It is only a 2-volume series. It is a Deadpool manga. I think it's excellent. I think it's properly silly, fourth wall breakery, and actually really fun to read in manga form. They really make use of it being a manga, if that makes any sense. If you read it, you probably know what I mean. If you haven't, I just sound a bit crazy. If you are a Marvel fan, I would absolutely recommend trying this one, especially since it's only 2 volumes long. Death March to a Parallel World Rhapsody 1 to 3 and 11. I've had 1 to 3 for a long while and I've read those. 11 I picked up vaguely recently because it was on sale at Forbidden Planet. This is an isekai. It started off with a developer being isekai'd into a game that he had developed, and I was like, okay, this sounds cool, this sounds excellent. And then it got really weird, and a lot of his harem girls that look way too young, and I was a bit unsure and put off by that. I was enjoying all the dev elements, but it's just meant that I've not really tried to pick it up too much too quickly. I picked up the volume when I found it on sale, and I'll probably just try and do the rest. Same with the rest, to be honest, when I find them. Next we have Death Note 1 to, well, I suppose 13-ish. The 13's a bit not quite the same. Yeah, it's Death Note. I always felt like Death Note was definitely a bit overhyped, which I feel is a really dangerous thing to say. Like, don't get me wrong, I did enjoy it, and reading it as a mid-teen, of course, it was wonderfully edgy, and I was reading it on the bus to school, but looking back, not even that long looking back, I read this during my GCSEs, and I remember thinking in my A-levels, really? Is this only popular because it's super edgy? Also probably the first super wordy manga that I ever read, because before this I pretty much only read Naruto and One Piece, and there was a lot more punchy than there is in Death Note. Of course I am happy to have read Death Note, it is such a classic manga, but sometimes I'm surprised that it's held to such a high mantle that it is, I think. Saying that, I also have Death Note short stories, which is a much newer as in past couple of months release. I did quite enjoy this, if only it gave me so much nostalgia, because there was extra stories and sequel stories from the main series, and it just threw me back to my teenage years of reading Death Note on the bus. So that was actually quite good. I enjoyed reading that one, if only because it gave me so much nostalgia. Also, that was kind of weird. I'm not sure how much I liked it.